The Minister for Education has paused the review of special needs assistant allocations following an outcry by parents and schools. Dozens of schools had received letters informing them their SNA allocations were being reduced from September, news some parents called devastating. Minister Hildegarde Naughton has now assured them that the government is listening to their concerns, but opposition parties say a pause in the SNA review is not enough and are calling for the cuts to be scrapped completely.
Relief at this Desh primary school this evening and in other schools too. SNA provision at Assumption Junior National School was reviewed last December. Last week they were told that they would lose 4 out of their 9 mainstream SNAs next year.
We were just absolutely shocked and devastated. We just felt the impact on our young children would be devastating next year were these cuts to go ahead. And it would mean effectively that children who are able to access education every day in our school wouldn't be able to, because if they don't have the supports of the SNAs for maybe movement breaks, for regulation, to help give a soft start in the morning, these children potentially couldn't come to school.
The pending SNA cuts were raised in the Dáil today.
Panic, fear, anger, Taoiseach. These are some of the words being used by parents, SNAs and teachers alike in the last few days.
Legally, we have to acknowledge that school is progression. Children move on from one school to another. So it's not plausible that there wouldn't be reviews. The criticism I may have that the review should be more regular to make sure that our resource goes to the children most in need.
This school is among around 180 nationwide who received news last week of cuts to their SNA provision. Of course, news of a pause is welcome, but those schools are also asking what happens next.
There doesn't seem to be clarity around what's going to happen, and that's not good for us because we need to plan for next year for our incoming junior infants and for the children who are in our school at the moment.
The Minister for Education said she had listened carefully and would now ensure that all concerns were understood. Emma O'Kelly, RTE News, Walkinstown in Dublin.
Well, our political correspondent Micheál Lehane is standing by now at Leinster House. And Micheál, the government had been defending this review, but it seems that public pressure has brought about this pause now.
Yes, it has. The brake firmly has been applied here, Tommy, and that despite the fact that the Education Minister just yesterday was quite strident in her defence of what was unfolding. I suppose officially the wording around this is that a government want to ensure that the people who most need SNAs, that they have them. But at the very least, it is fair to say that this entire review has been poorly handled, and I think that's borne out by the fact that the Taoiseach in the Chamber, speaking about this, said he doesn't believe that any school should lose 6 SNAs. He doesn't believe that any school should lose 4, and that if anything were to happen at all, it should happen on a gradual basis. That's fairly pointed criticism of a review that was essentially being carried out by an arm of government. And I suppose at the very least too, it is fair to conclude that what has happened has caused alarm for the students themselves, for their parents, and for SNAs. And it was set out very clearly in the Chamber earlier the impact that it could have on many people who really fear going to school and because of SNAs love it. If that were to change, it could alter their entire experience in school. But I suppose that is the human impact, but there is a political impact here because this matters, particularly because the programme for government and the Taoiseach emphasises that it is going to be a government that is going to improve things for people who have extra needs and who have disabilities. And what has happened over the last number of days up until today caused the opposite. In fact, it caused a lot of worry.
Micheál Lehane at Leinster House, thank you.